It is a rainy day here in Kentucky for the JJ sisters. Now I'll sit down on the porch so I can talk to you. This is JJ4, Jesse. But everybody is awake, I believe. Yeah, we are all awake because we were talking to a friend, and he's a friend that we all like, and so we were all awake and communicating with him, talking to him about different things. He is also a friend that knows about the four of us but hates it. So we've got to be really careful to stay in first person with him and not talk about each other that much, because he gets, I wouldn't say he gets mad, he just gets irritated and shuts down, and then you have no conversation anymore. And I love him and I want to have conversation with him. So that's what we do. We just pretend to be one, and we all say what we want to say to him, but within, the guise of just one person. But that sometimes, we were doing texting, but then we switched over to a video call, and then I do think that it got a little bit weird, because when you're switching in and out, it can be confusing to people. Even though we're pretending to be just one, we do have different opinions, and so opinions that contradict sometimes, and so that can be a little bit confusing. It's best, I don't know, girls and guys of my age, we are all products of the 70s and 80s, and the 70s and the 80s were a confusing time. Every time is a confusing time, but the 70s and 80s especially, you had very traditional values here in Kentucky, very Christian values. And so we were all hit over the head by those. But then the adults in our lives were very confused also. And so they would tell us to be a certain way, and then that's not what we always got from them. And not only in our own homes, but also outside of the home. Spare the rod, spoil the child was still very much a big belief. I got paddled every single year in school, sometimes multiple times. I would usually have to get an awakening at the beginning of the school year, and then I'd settle down a little bit and realize how I needed to be. But it was, and not that paddling is the reason that I'm the way that I am. That's not what but it probably did contribute as far as the way that adults viewed children, that we were to be controlled instead of to be taught. But then once we got to be preteens and teenagers, then our peers stepped in, and we were of the generation that our rock stars were these guys that were very misogynistic towards women, but also said this is the way that you should be in order to be a desirable woman. You should dress like this or be like this. So we were told one thing by our parents and then another thing by our peers and heroes. And it's really hard to break free from those teachings. So anyway, what I was wanting to talk about is what I do specifically with men. And this is me specifically, Jesse, JJ4. I want to be treated like I am a treasure. I want to be treated like I'm beautiful and desirable. But then Harper will step in and she wants to be one of the boys. And so if they're talking about sex, she wants to talk about sex too. And it ends up becoming really confusing. And then I, wanting attention, I'll kind of jump in and blend in with her. And we'll do something to try to get attention that is perhaps not what we should be doing with someone who's kind of made it clear that that's not what he wants with me. But then he gives mixed signals also, because I don't know that he really knows what he wants either from me. So all conversations are great, but they do usually end with me feeling bad about something that I did and being regretful that I showed him my new bra, which is really cute and has these hearts that are dressed up like devils, and it's got matching. I'm not going to go into all that because my boys might watch this, but so I showed him my bra, and then I didn't get the reaction that I wanted, and so now I'm feeling bad about myself, where I wish that I would just learn that with this particular person, that's not what he's looking for with me, even if he kind of acts like it is sometimes. So it's confusing. And I'm confused anyway. I'm trying to look at the green dot. So that's kind of the way that today is starting. This is the same outfit from yesterday. We have not had a shower. I did freshen up my makeup just a little bit, but my hair is still kind of, I mean, it still looks okay, but it's not as good as it looked yesterday. And I've got to get in and go to work. So I will probably be doing a series on sex and love, because I am single, ready to mingle. Not really. I am actively looking for my soulmate, but I'm attached to all these other girls and they're looking for their soulmate too. And what's good for one of us is not good for another one. So I don't think he's out there. And honestly, Bre doesn't want anybody anyway. But I would, and Jude would, and Harper would like to have somebody to wrestle with. Literally and figuratively. So I probably will be doing a series on sex and love, and I'll put it in a folder and tell my boys, do not go into that folder. Because that's not something that you want to see your mom talking about. And Harper likes to talk about it too. We all like to talk about it. It's a part of life. But where we grew up in the 70s and the 80s, we were told, you don't talk about that. You don't talk about that. Sexual health is not to be mentioned. And so therefore, nobody has sexual health. You all are just confused. And so am I all the time. So I'm no different than anybody else. All right, this is Jessie JJ4, and I think I stayed pretty consistent to myself for this entire video. Even though I did mention Bre and Jude and Harper. So I'm going to call this a win. Bye.